Talking immigration. Why? Well, because there's a pitch out there to adjust the levels of immigrants coming in under certain categories here in Quebec for a very serious reason, and that is to make sure that Quebec has the manpower it needs in the jobs that it has open in the regions that need them. So the Institut de Québec is recommending temporarily boosting permanent immigration to 90,000 individuals per year. So that's nearly double what the government right now, the CAQ government of Francois Legault, is looking at. But what it is saying is, let's work on permanent immigration, bringing it up to 90,000 so we can reduce temporary foreign workers coming in, reduce this growing reliance on temporary foreign workers. So if you prioritize permanent residency for skilled workers and graduates already living in Quebec, you might be able to do that. That's what the Institute thinks. When it comes to immigration, though, there's so many moving parts, and there's also real emotion involved in this. Some people get very exercised when you talk about immigration and what immigration levels should be set at and what programs should be prioritized. Here to help us sort through this is immigration lawyer Patrice Brunet. Thanks for coming into studio, Patrice.
Thanks, Trudy. Good morning.
So, what about this proposal from the Institut de Québec? Does this make sense to you?
It does, and it's actually quite refreshing. Well, half refreshing, because we don't hear a lot in the discourse, public discourse, that we should increase the number of permanent residents. It's quite the opposite. And in this report, they're actually recommending to increase it to 90,000 per year, to give a sense of normality and predictability to those who are already temporarily on the territory. And you know what? It makes sense, because those people are already working. They're already adapted. They answer a need with the companies, and frankly, their bosses don't want to see them go. Actually, they want them to have a permanent status so that there's more stability for them. Where I'm not so much in agreement with this report is that it's recommending that the number of temporary residents decrease over the years. So, temporary residents shouldn't be in the same basket as permanent residents, because it's a whole different game. The temporary residents, if you look at the workers, they answer a need from the companies. And when I hear that the politicians say that the companies have to stop depending on foreign workers, they're not depending on them. It costs them a lot to recruit elsewhere. If they're recruiting people from abroad, it's because they've tried to recruit locally and it hasn't worked. And there's already a system in place for years, which is called the LMIA, the Labor Market Impact Assessment. So you have to go through Service Canada as an employer. You have to show that that you've tried to recruit locally and it doesn't work, and that's why you need this French person, this British person, this Chilean person So we have to be very careful where the government gets involved with the businesses. They have to let them rule their business. If the business thinks that they need 10 foreign workers, they've identified them, there should be facilitation, not a cap.
My question has to do with whether, they're talking about prioritizing permanent residency for people here, skilled workers and graduates already living in Quebec. So these people who came here to go to school, they finished their education program, and now they would like to be able to say, okay, that makes sense. Skilled workers, okay, that makes sense. They have something we need. But when we look at the type of jobs that I often associate with temporary foreign workers, we're not talking about a skilled laborer or someone with a university degree. We're talking about someone who is picking our strawberries, or, doing farm work, or working in our abattoirs, because that's another area where you see a lot of temporary foreign workers, is in slaughterhouses and in animal food processing. So can we accomplish what this goal is while still making sure that those jobs are getting done? Those jobs feed us.
That's such an amazing, great point, Trudy. And I think that we, as a society, we decided decades ago that we wanted to educate our population in order to remove them from those menial jobs that are difficult to do and that don't require a high level of education. We have become more educated as a society, but those jobs still need to be done. You need to bring those chickens into the trucks, and those foreign workers they fill that function. Always under our Quebec laws, they have minimum wage applying to them. They have CNSST, so they're protected. So we need those people. If you have government restricting the entry of those people, what are we going to do? We're going to import our chicken from Brazil? I mean, it doesn't make sense. So we have to, but in my business, we also have a lot of people who come here with skills to repair machinery. We have vice presidents. We have presidents of company. We have people who want to set up businesses. And this applies to them as well. Those are temporary foreign workers as well. We want them to come and to transfer their knowledge, transfer their network from their businesses. What are we talking about now? We need to diversify our commercial relationships with other countries than the U.S. Well, we have to open our doors to those people who 10 years, 20 years from now will be able to enhance our commercial relations with China, with Pakistan, with European countries, with Latin America. We need to be more open to the world. And this is exactly what immigration is about, temporary workers and then transiting to permanent residents in order for those people to stay.
I do think that, the human being in me also thinks, bringing it to the emotional level, as I said in my intro, the people who took care of us during the pandemic by cleaning the floors in the hospitals, the people who were working in the meat processing plants who seemed to get COVID at a very high rate compared to the general population, all those people who do all those really tough jobs, I would like to see them rewarded in a way after a certain number of years with citizenship, because right now they work here, they save a lot of the money, they send their money home to support their families. It would be nice to have them here. So that I'm just bringing in like the human argument too. There's
the human argument. You're right. But it's not just about the reward. It's because they do a job that is necessary that other Canadians don't do. Or if they do that job, they'll do it for a few months. And that doesn't provide stability to the employer. They'll do it for a few months, but then they'll find something else because the schedule is not good for them, or they've developed other skills, and then they can increase their level of income. So, we're not doing them a favor; they're actually doing us a favor. So let's make sure that they stay here, so that and then we don't focus on the short term, because providing them with permanent residence will allow their kids, if they want to have kids here, to then become very adapted to Quebec. Bill 101 will apply to their kids, so they'll learn French. They'll be completely francophone, even if their parents, foreign workers, did not speak French and they were speaking Spanish. That's okay, because a generation from now, their kids will be fully adapted, and then they'll probably go to university, or they'll be highly educated as well. That's how you build a society.
Knowing as you do immigration circles and the atmosphere in immigration circles these days, just a quick take: 90,000. Is that going to fly? Is that going to fly with the province?
That's interesting.
Does it have legs, this idea?
Well, I've been at this mic a few times bringing back the 1% rule. And I'll explain it again. The 1% rule is the capacity that we can integrate newcomers on an annual basis, 1% of the population. So, and we've been doing that for 30 years. It's only recently that the federal government has increased it to more than 1%. So 1% let's say we're 40 million people in Canada, 1% is 400,000 people. So we can give permanent residence to 400,000 people per year, and then they'll integrate. If you go above that, then you start seeing fractures in society, which we've seen over the past 2-3 years, and it's pretty instant. In Quebec, there's 9 million people, or 8 or 9 million people. We can go up to 90,000 people, new permanent residents. So it's not a huge amount. It's actually in line with what we've seen in the past. Legault wants to bring it down to 50,000. The PQ wants to bring it down to 35,000. I don't think it's enough. And demographically, if we start making more babies, great. Let's tweak it down. But we're making like 1.4 babies per person. So we need those people to come, but they need to integrate. And securely, also, we have everything in place to do the security checks. So it's not about what Trump is saying, bringing in gang members and so on. We have a system to filter those people out. And then if they make it here, we'll kick them out. We have to be very strict about that. But the vast majority, 99% of them, they just want to come here and contribute to our society and become a building block of what we are and what we want to be. Let's welcome them. Let's give them the papers.
All right. Patrice Brunet, immigration lawyer, thanks very much for coming in today.
Thank you.
Always interesting to hear you speak.